realize that it's okay. Although sometimes people object to me dropping an F-bomb in a game, even though there's plastic pieces in this one, simply because, hey, this game is named Crude. Okay, anyway. What we ought to do before I do the setup, before people buy the setup, is see what's going to happen here. So state sales tax due soon. You pay $15 million for each gas station you own. If you don't have the money, you may have to liquidate. And there's special rules that allow you to liquidate when you don't have die rolls if you need to pay money, if something's a required payment. So that's a fair reason not to buy gas stations at the beginning of the game, but on the other hand, the $25 versus $14, if you can sell a couple of gas, one station's probably worthwhile. And this is a good time to buy things, so somebody will probably buy them. The other one, oh, these are just bad things for everyone. Each player must immediately pay to the bank the following for each barrel of oil he owns. Crude oil is $3 million, gasoline $5 million. If you don't have the money, you have to raise it with forced liquidations. Now, forced liquidations happen at the current market value, so they can actually be really valuable, except that, well, they wipe out money that you already have. But they could be a way, they could be a means of selling something at a higher value than you normally would be able to at the end of the game to cover those expenses if other people have to pay cash. But if you don't have any cash, you're probably doing pretty poorly at that point. Okay, so I did tilt the board because I can put the money for the different players at the different corners, or at the different centerpieces this way, and that works. And then this and this is one player, this is one player, etc. And I think the board works better that way. I'm going to be playing counterclockwise, as I said, and I don't know what I'm going to do, but I got to figure out what each person's strategy basically is. And I'll come back probably after everybody's gone, but maybe in between if I got something real interesting to say. From my prior experience in the game, trying to deal in the commodity itself isn't a terribly good way to make money. Just, you know, buying up oil and gas and then reselling it. Even if you have a gas station, with a gas station you can buy up gasoline from the market and use it. If you have a refinery, more refinery capacity than you have drilling, you buy up oil. But it generally isn't worth it, at least from my experience, buying up oil and gas and hoping that other people need to buy it so that you get it back. There was a harsh winter event coming in the game that I played, 2-player, and it just, you know, it's a means of continually increasing the demand for oil. It just didn't pay off. The margins were not good enough. So you're buying, you know, oil at say $6. Even if you sell it at double the price, that's only one barrel. You have to buy a bunch of barrels and then you sell a bunch, and you end up coming out pretty close to even, as opposed to the rigs, the drilling rigs, which actually worked pretty well as a commodity, strangely enough. You could speculate on them a lot better. So what we have is two people who took fairly balanced strategies, and actually the same amount of money, just because you don't want to keep too much cash on hand, because that stuff's not going to make you money, and you do generally make money in the game. But you want some to cover, especially with these bad events out here. And also to cover any needs that you have in terms of buying oil for the refineries. They both took gas stations and refineries. The other two, the first guy went and said, well, you know, I can go with a bunch of rigs. And this guy said, well, if that's a good strategy, I'm going to go heavier into it. And we'll see how this works. This guy's got more cash reserves by a lot, which means if the economy turns down, he's got some advantages. He also has more flexibility in terms of buying oil to refine it. Of course, he has no gas station, so he doesn't really need it. So, let us start the actual play. And the first thing's the market phase. Well, it's this guy. He's got enough oil that he can refine it. He's got no real needs. He doesn't want plenty of oil hanging around. Doesn't really have a use for gas. At this point in the game, I'm going to get rid of some of the problem. and get myself 26 bucks for that gas. So now I'm less susceptible to this event. And now I roll the dice and move my mice. Okay, I got a doubles to start with. And that's a double 6, which means it immediately triggers the least likely of the events. So everybody's got to pay a tax. And that's 3 million per barrel of crude that they have on hand, and 5 million per barrel of gasoline. Now the nice thing about this is it's out of the way, right? So we'll just figure out those payments. So this guy's just got to pay 6 bucks, and that's pretty easy. Over here it's 16 bucks, which seems harsh, but you know, I've gotten rid of one of the bad events before it can really hit me, and that's what most of these people have, is 16 bucks here. Nine. I just turned into 25. So I wasn't right. They didn't do the exact same thing. This gets flipped back down and under the deck, so it could come up again conceivably if we get a lot of doubles. And then we draw a new one, aggressive national debt reduction taxes. These are all the bad events. Each player must pay the bank the following amounts for each of his assets. Drilling rigs 2 bucks, oil wells 5, gas station 15, refinery 20. And again, you're going to be affected by what you have, and then you have to pay it no matter what. So you may have to liquidate ahead of time. So for the player's production phase, 6-6 puts me here. These guys get hit, but that doesn't do me any good. Only if I had a rig all the way down here would I have been able to convert it to, well, into an oil rig. So I'm done, but now we go to my neighbors, and my neighbors also have nothing off of me. And now I'm on the assets phase. I don't know if I want to sell my things. I'd lose money off them immediately. So I'm going to wait and hope that a market gets better. This thing didn't move. Nothing else happened. So it's the end of my turn. I pass the dice over here. Market phase. Well, I have oil that I like to refine and gas that I like to sell. So I don't really want to get rid of either. Although, and I've paid the big penalty for that. So I'll almost get doubles again. And this could have turned out to be a very, very strange game if that happened. So I'm allowed to refine 1 oil into a gas. Okay. And 4-6 doesn't meet. So now we go to other people. Nobody has anything that got hit that matters. So I'm kind of stuck with this gas. I can't buy or sell it. I could sell some of my crap, like this rig, but again, I don't want to lose money on it right away, I don't think. The cost is 2 bucks, which is what I spend for the drilling rig. What about this guy? Well, I saw what he did with the gas, but you know, holding the gas at this point isn't so bad. I could sell it here for the same amount that he did. Remember, you can only sell in one market, which is why you couldn't get top price on both by splitting it. But I think that people might end up buying gas. I'm not sure. I'm just going to roll and hold my gas and hope that things work out well for me. I get a 5-3. Yeah. Which is a miss. He gets to refine a gas. Uh-oh. He gets nothing. Not a lot I can do. I could sell rigs, but I don't want to do that any more than I want to. I would rather sell my gasoline, which puts us over to this guy. He's got a balanced situation, doesn't see any reason to buy or sell any of these. 5-3 was 2. Jesus. I had a match here. Here I had, I think it was, we'll give it 2 again. I forgot to move that die. All right, so over to him, he'll roll the dice. 6-3, and we got to remember to do that first thing because otherwise I'll forget. 1, 2, 3, we're almost breaking that. And if I made a mistake, so what, you know? All right, so I'm allowed to sell gas, which I'll do. I got a nice roll. So I get 25 bucks because I filled the 25 buck space. I'm allowed to refine an oil into a gas, which I do. And now this is the cool thing. I'm allowed to buy this for 5 bucks because there's none on the board yet. I convert this sucker into a drill. Now I could immediately sell this drill, but hold on. Let's look at these. Here, this guy gets to turn some of his oil into gas. This guy gets nothing. Now, I could sell anything along this line. My oil rig would be worth 30 bucks, and I'd make some immediate money. But, you know, those prices go up, and I can produce oil with this sucker. So I'm going to leave that alone for now, and we pass back over here. Let's do another round because we'll see one of the final activities in the game coming in play. Well, I got gas again. I'll sell it for 14 bucks because I don't need that shit. This guy might have wanted to. He doesn't have much money. He might have wanted to invest in more wells, but with this thing out there, it's painful to do. Okay. So we'll hold off on that. 5 and 3. That's going to push this. Okay, that means we have to roll for a new climate. It is rapid growth. First thing that happens, get rid of this. This goes up by 6. So now the gas price is fixed at, 38. Sells at 37. You can see the purchase prices and resale prices have gone up. I may want to start ditching some materials now just because there are threats out here. This is the first player. Okay. I should give him the dice if that's the case. He had these. I rolled them. They were here, I think. Okay. So, well, what do we want to do? We can refine a gas. We'll do that. And now we can convert one of these, which we definitely want to do. Yes, they're more expensive. The oil well is 5 instead of a drilling rig, but that's okay. That's going to cost me 10 bucks to upgrade. And now I could turn that around and sell it for 65. Hey, that's a pretty good price change, right? Which is indeed something I'm going to do. I don't know if I want to sell that rig right away, even though there are problems ahead. But what I do want to do is I want to sell 1, 2, 3, 4 of these. 4 nines is 36 bucks. 41, 51. Don't want the gas station. I could sell my refinery for 90. There's a level at which you don't want to get rid of everything, right? Because cash on hand isn't going to make me money. And I'll probably get another good economic climate where I can do things. So I'm going to actually stay with that, I think. Although that refinery is going to cost me 20 bucks. Yeah, okay. I'll sell the refinery for 90. And if I'm selling the refinery, I might as well sell the oil well for 65. I'm not sure how wise this is. I've basically denuded myself, but that's okay. And that was my purchase round. Now, if I rolled that, this guy got to go, so I've got to jump back to his turn. He should have been able to sell a gas, which he would have done for 37 bucks. And yeah, this kind of mistake happens. And he should have been able to refine a gas as well, which he'll also do. And he got 2 oil. Okay. And that passes the dice over to the second player. Now, I have a bunch of gas, maybe more than I need, but there's no real negative to holding gas at this point in the game. There's no penalty there. Here, if I sell my gas station, I won't want it. But let's roll. It's 6, 4, that moves it 2. All right. So, I can refine oil. I should have bought oil. I didn't. I lose that opportunity. Now, oil refineries are very good at getting the oil. I can sell 2 gas because I was hit twice, though. So that gives me 71 bucks. And the mechanics or mechanical issues of playing all these sides at once is difficult. There is a bit of mental mechanism going on where you have to keep track of this, you have to keep track of what you're doing, so these guys don't get hit on the neighbor phase. In the assets phase, do I want to dump stuff? Probably some of it, just because the market is in good shape at this point. I'm going to sell. So the gas station I bought at only 48 and could sell at 50. I don't really want to do that. I don't really want to sell my refinery either, except that it comes with a huge fee, and so does the gas station. It's got a $30 fee on it. But I'm going to hold both of these. Unlike him, I think this second issue is not going to be in place right away. Do I want to sell some of these rigs, these drills? Well, that would lessen sort of the, grab myself a decision die. That would lessen some of my risk a little bit. So yeah, I'm going to sell some of the, or I'm going to sell most of these. So I'm going to sell 3, 4 of these drilling rigs at 9 bucks each. That's 36 bucks. And hopefully the change that I've been making is correct as well. Always a question because, okay, I was over on this corner, now I'm over here. Now what is his situation? He's got oil to refine, he's got gas to sell, but prices kind of suck, so I'll hold my gas for a little bit. I think I'll just roll. Okay, my difference is 2. I'm able to refine 1 oil into a gas. I'm able to convert one of these. Now there's only one in existence, even though 2 were bought. They're not on the board anymore, which is how it's kind of worded. So it only cost me $10 to upgrade. I hope I did the $10 upgrade for the one guy. I don't know. Now neighbors, this guy gets to refine. Now he's over here. So he refines that. And this is really tough to do solo, just in part because of the skewing of the board and everything. So now it's assets time, and I've got a lot of assets to sell. And I really do want to, in this case. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of these is $72. The reason is I have to pay such a big fine, a fee, if that event comes up. What about the drilling well at $65? You know, even though other people are doing this, I just don't feel like there's that much profit to be made in drilling a well right now, in operating this thing. So I'm going to take that $65 as well. And then what about the refinery? Well, again, there's not a hell of a lot of reason for one. I do make some money off of it, and there's a $20 hit out there. I'll take $90 for the refinery as well. And I too am liquidating most of my assets just because there's so many bad things out there, and this is one of the stronger occurrences. So chances are we go to prosperity or expansion. Prosperity is even richer, but I may not get that chance before the doubles come up or whatever. So I'm getting rid of my resources. That puts me over to this guy. Now this guy has the capacity to refine oil. There's no real harm to buying oil at this point. It's not terribly expensive. I've got the gas station. I think I'm going to buy myself 1 oil for $6. Just in case I get a double refine, or if I get hit by somebody's neighbor roll or something like that. 2, 4. Well, or sorry, 2, 6, and I get a 4. That changes this. We roll. It's a 2. It goes to prosperity. Hey, now prosperity is the best of them. It's guaranteed to go down from here. This goes up 7. That price just grows and grows. In bad climates, I noticed that it kind of stayed stable. In good climates, it just goes up. However you want to look at that. You can see it flattens out up here, though. It's not making those big jumps. So it probably starts decreasing, you know, once it gets to a stupid value. So, what's our production roll? Well, we're able to refine oil, and we're able to refine 2 of our oil. Sounds good to me. We're able to sell 1 gas for $47. And you can see, if you can get that pipeline going with good prices, it's a lot better than, you know, speculating, but on the oil wells and such. But it takes a lot of capital to be sure that you're going to be able to get gas moving along there. We also create 2 oil. Okay. And now we got to think about this, because the climate is as good as it gets. And I think this is the time when we definitely want to sell. Those other people were a little iffy about whether or not they should have been selling. But here, it doesn't get any better than this. So 75 bucks for a well. Gas station, definitely need to get rid of that. That's 60 bucks. Gas station. Refinery, a big 120 bucks. There it goes. And we'll get rid of 2 of these as well. These are 12 bucks each, so I get 24 bucks for that. And unfortunately, I've been so good at change that didn't happen. Did we fire these guys? Yeah, they fired off. They didn't have anything. And we move the dice over here. Now, I think most people, when they play, probably wouldn't be as willing to dump their assets, but I consider assets to be, in general, a really valuable commodity movement thing. Now, when you put this kind of restriction on there as well, where there's going to be a big penalty for holding assets, wow, you know, it's going to be hard for me not to liquidate as soon as prices hit the highest. It gets a little different when you're talking about established stuff that runs well. So if you've got a refinery and a gas station and you're looking at high gas prices, it's a little harder to make that decision if these things aren't out here. This guy kind of made it, and we'll see if he gets burned by it, or if he comes out ahead from it. Now, you can see at capitalization, 250, 300, you know, he's a good way towards victory, but he doesn't have any assets, so he's going to have to do that again to be able to declare that victory at 750, and he doesn't necessarily win if he declares it. Remember, everybody else gets a turn, and then they liquidate all their assets. So liquidating your assets at high value to get you just to the 750 may not work if other people are able to liquidate their assets on their own turn, or if they're able to, if they have enough value that, like, well, you're probably screwed then, right? All right, we'll take a little break here. Our first player here doesn't have a whole hell of a lot he wants to particularly do. Gas, he doesn't have a gas station. It might be hard to gain gas, and it's not at a very good price, so I'm just going to hold on to it because there's no penalty for holding gas. And we'll just go. Oh, doubles. Now, this is double ones, which means nothing moves there, of course. I hope we did things right. Sales tax. This is the first one. Everybody has to pay 15 bucks for each gas station that he owns. Okay, well, I mean, it's not that big a penalty, right? But it does increase the cost. Only one person has that, and he's pretty happy to have maintained it. This one moves up into the number 1 slot. And our new one is long called winter. You remove 5 barrels of gasoline from the domestic market. Oh, gasoline, not oil. And then return them to the bank. And as the game continues, each player rolls doubles. You get 5 more barrels of gasoline from the market. I thought it was oil. Double fives will cancel this out after the 5 barrels are removed. Okay. Double ones doesn't hit anything. The neighbors don't have anything. The market hasn't changed. And we don't really see buying anything. This guy has a problem. He has no oil and he has a refinery. I'd kind of like to buy oil. So I'm going to spend 13 bucks on a barrel oil. Just with the thought that that's about what I'd want to refine. And then we roll. He gets a 6.3. And that's going to be 3 pips here. Now, prosperity is likely to go away. A downturn, which is the most likely, puts refineries at 120, which is what I'd sell them at. Gas station at 75, which is more than I'd sell it at. So I don't want to sell any of my stuff, just as a side of what's going on. But I hit the refinery, and I only hit it once, even though it takes up so many spaces. It's each die that hits it. So I can refine one gasoline, and I hit my gas station, so I can sell a gasoline for 46 bucks. And nothing else here. These guys, nothing interesting. Like I said, I don't want to sell anything, and I sure as hell don't want to buy anything in this market. Over here, I have a bunch of gas. Again, not a great price for it. Some oil. Not much I can do with oil. But with the cold winter, gasoline becomes kind of interesting, actually. Although the fact that it's gas and not oil. Wow, I assumed it was oil because of, heating oil as opposed to gas. The fact that it's gasoline instead of oil is kind of tough because gas tends to be not a great buy, right? I mean, not a great sale. You don't usually sell your gas here. You want to sell it to the consumer market, not the domestic. But there's no really increased demand there. I think what happens is less gas is available because they're turning the product into oil or whatever. But that should be a mechanism that the players are more involved in. Anyway. Oh, what do we got here? So, I mean, do I want to sell an oil for 7 bucks? I will, because I've got nothing I can do with it, and I may need that money. I don't have a lot of money here. Oh, I do. I have hundreds. Okay. I see the coins and lose track of the bills. Okay. 1 and 2. We don't hit anything, and none of our competitors hit anything. We're not going to buy in this market. We go over here. This guy's got a lot of gas. I don't want to touch that. A couple of oil. I got plenty of money. I don't see any reason that I'm trying to divest. 1 and 2, this moves it by 1. I gotta remember that. It's really tough playing solo to do so for me. Okay, 3 and 6 doesn't hit anything. No hits for anyone else. Basically nothing's moving because everybody sold their goods. And hey, nobody else was doing this, but we're gonna keep selling these. That's 24 more bucks. Let's go around another time before pausing for a bit, probably. Put this over here. And no real interest in doing anything. 6 and 2, that's going to be a 4-point swing. And the market is changing. Roll. Two, downturn. This moves up by 2. You can see the price is just steadily increasing there. Prices still pretty high. So I probably don't want to buy much. And we didn't get hit by anything. Nobody else got hit. We don't want to buy. We don't have anything we can sell. We go over here. He'll continue buying oil because we're not producing oil and we want to make sure we don't lose any. So that goes to 18 plus $7 oil. And we'll make our roll. One and 5. That's a 4-point swing. What happened here? Okay. And with that, we have neat things. First, we get to refine an oil to a gas, which is just good. Then we get to convert, and there are none, which means it's only $5 to convert, which is just awesome. Now, we could, of course, sell that at $60, but this is excessive taxation here. Oil wells aren't very expensive. It's the gas station and the refinery that are expensive. We know we're going to have to pay those extra bucks, but we're going to keep our operation going, which nobody else has been doing. And we think we're gaining money from that. Buying anything, you know, even though it's a downturn, it's not a great market to be buying stuff in. The gas station would cost me $75. Drilling's 12. We'll hold, and we'll pass this over here. Gasoline not worth selling. So he rolls a 1 and a 3, which is 2 pips. The dice say, and this is why you want these, because they can fire on somebody else's turn. So this, you know, this refinery could get hit on his turn, or the gas station could get hit on his turn. I mean, if all you have is drilling wells, and the same with the oil wells, but if all you have is the wildcatting, you're never going to make anything on anybody else's turn. So we're going to build ourselves a well. It costs us $10 because there's already one out there. But now we have the interesting question, because there is garbage out here in terms of this that we would rather not see. And drilling rigs are $8 each here. So 4 8s is 32. $35 for that. And what about the actual oil rig? Do we want that thing? It'll cost us $5, and right now it's worth 60. Of course, the odds of being able to do anything with it are pretty low, and we're going to want to start building a chain sometime that does stuff. I think we're going to leave it there because we can always sell it when it hits prosperity or whatever next time. So we'll push on to here, and I hope I moved things forward as I should have. Never can be sure. And it's a problem even in multiple people to forget that often enough. This guy has oil and gas. What does he want to do with it? I mean, he could sell it, but it's not at a great price, and there's no real imperative. He's got plenty of money. So we will just roll and hope we hit some oil. 1 and 4. That is a 3-point, which changes the market. Two is a recession. Okay, The economic forecast out of a recession is very varied. The change in consumer oil is 0, so it's going to stay, the price is going to stay where it is. Our actual hits are not very good, and a recession is not good for anything, really. The liquidation values aren't good. The costs aren't very good in a recession either. So, for example, a gas station's 55. During the recovery, it's 48. This makes some sense that you don't really want to be investing too much during the recession. The problem is, I have a bunch of gas, and it may behoove me to buy in at this point at 55 bucks. So I'm going to buy myself a gas station, and I can put it wherever I like because it's just a gas station. Nothing's going to go here, so we'll put it here. Let's make sure these didn't get a chance. That was a couple more times around. Another break. Well, with the recession, it's not entirely the best time to grow, but it's not terrible, and we may find a need to. Nothing going on here. I think I'm gonna roll. I don't really want to sell anything that I've got. 4-3 shifted to 1. We miss, and everybody else misses. This is the question. You know, unlike this guy, I don't have a lot of gas sitting around. So I don't know if there's any real incentive to start investing at this point. If we hit depression or recovery, recovery is definitely better. Depression's pretty damn good too. So I think, given the likelihood of what's going to happen from a recession, we want to wait on this, and we're not buying anything. Which this guy probably should have followed. He just had so much gas on hand. Same factors are in his consideration. One thing that's different, though, is he wants to spend $7 on another oil, just because he continually is able to process that crude. So no guarantees, of course. The game doesn't come with them. Okay. And, well, a recession is not when you want to sell stuff and basically nothing's happening on us. However, this guy gets a couple of oil, which is cool. Okay, we go over to him. Now, he has nothing to do with his gas, but with that long cold winter, he's like, prices may be improving, I don't want to touch that. What about my oil? If we get lucky, we'll be buying, so I'll hold on to my raw materials that I have. And we don't get lucky in terms of production, or in terms of being able to buy anything to sell with. So 4-3 isn't going to do much for us, although we do produce another couple of oil. That's kind of cool. We'd like to get a refinery up, but again, recovery, the refinery is only 64. Depression, it's only 50. Those are the most likely places. Is it worth just throwing away, 15 bucks? Well, if we got a hit, maybe, but there's no guarantees of a hit. It's about 50-50. We don't really need that. What we really need is a gas station. So let's look at gas station. Gas station is 55 here. In depression, it's of course significantly less at 32. In recovery, it's 48. I think we can afford to buy ourselves a gas station at 55, even though there's a recession going on. We're almost, oh no. I keep not seeing the money that's not coins. People are pretty awash in cash. Where do we want to put this? Well, we could put it here and guarantee if anybody else is selling it, we get second dibs, and if they're selling, we get dibs. But position-wise, that's kind of an unpleasant place for us. So we're going to stick it down here where it doesn't really help anyone else and doesn't hurt anyone. And we pass the dice. His situation, oil's not worth selling. Gas, he's got a station, so he'll roll. 3 and 2, and time is moving slowly. Nothing good for us. More oil. Well, that oil well is just cranking. Eventually you get so much you start selling it back to the market, but if you can process it, that's great. Yeah, we're just going to keep holding. We got our gas station. We don't really want to keep buying more gas stations. That puts us over here. He's going to hold. 4 and 3. It's another point. And, well, I'm not doing anything and no one else gets anything. Slide over here. We got enough oil to run our refinery. If it comes to that, we're good on gas. We roll. 6 and 3. So we're getting a time shift here, and all kinds of stuff gets to be done. First, we see what the recession turns to. It turns to 1. It's going to be a depression. This is bad for the gas prices. Consumer demand goes down. 1, 2, the damn serpentines. But prices are awesomely low, and it's only going to go up from there, recovery or expansion. So, we'll see what we do. We can convert 1 oil to gas. We can sell 1 gas to the market, and at 45 bucks, that's not bad. Even with the recession, the prices are pretty good. And now we can buy stuff, and we're going to want to buy a lot of stuff. What do we want it to be? Well, we certainly want to get a gas station. That's 32. I'll come back and show you what I buy. But I have a fair amount of money, and I want to bulk up my pass-through as much as possible, especially the gas payoffs, because gas prices are fairly high, and I have some stock here. Everybody else is probably going to do the same. But at least I get the first shot at it, right? Because of the low price of the recession, of the depression, this is only 112 bucks to build this all out. I could have bought more. I still have more cash, and I'm not too terribly worried. Although, ouch. But one thing is, this gives me some expansion room if things start cranking. I wasn't really worried too much about the doubles. Not sure why. On to this guy. Well, I'm going to be buying a refinery, obviously, so I'll just roll. No need to deal with, no need to play with the commodities. 6 and 4 is 2. This doesn't do me any good. However, he gets to refine another oil. We're short on oil, but we couldn't do anything after we found that the depression was here. Okay, well, again, another player who has to buy a lot of stuff. And, you know, I got to do this offline with the calculator and do some thinking each time. Because there's also, I do want to keep this in mind. what I bought, but I realized I forgot about this guy's refining capabilities. No, I already took them into account. So we're over here. And same kind of situation. Got to do some thinking here. But let's see what the dice give me, because that's the first step. I have enough gas, I have enough oil, and I don't really want to get rid of either. 5 and 6 is a 1-point difference. I don't really have much to get. This guy gets to sell a gas. And gas prices are at 44, 45. And now I do the calculations for whatever the hell it is he wants to get. He doesn't maybe need a refinery. And this thing has a high cost for a refinery. So I may be concentrating more on oil wells. Or maybe I'm just afraid. I'm kind of afraid, so I'm going to go kind of light on the oil wells with him. So we'll do him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's only 24 bucks. And that way we'll skip his turn, his possible problem turn. And over here, oh, we have no oil, but that's okay right now. We also have no gas. We have a problem. We can go without oil unless we're planning on building a refinery. I don't want to build a refinery. I don't really want to build a gas station. I'm just going to roll. I'm not sure what I want. 6 and 2, 4-point bump. Now I'm missing the depression if I don't buy now, so I probably need to. I get nothing. This guy gets to sell a gas. This guy is over here. Ooh. Order's important here. I don't remember which of your neighbors goes first. It would normally be the player to your left, so for me it's the player to the right. It's the next player in line, essentially. Okay, so this guy gets to sell a gas first, because there's a slight difference in price. And he gets 43. And now over here he gets to sell a gas as well, and he only gets 42. But now comes the hard part. What am I doing with him for money? The problem with buying lots of oil fields like he does is the price does go up. The drilling rigs are $2 each, but I think that's actually where I want to go, and treat them as kind of a commodity and turn them into drilling rigs as need be, and then see where we go from there. I don't have any. I stole his gas when I took this guy's. I don't have a lot of gas. I don't have any capacity that I need to refine. Of course, I could be buying oil and refining it, but with these penalties out here, I think I just want to go big on the oil wells. Now, this guy didn't go too big on them. This guy did, but he's got other stuff. I'm going to go straight up on the oil wells at this point. And that really is just a calculation of counting all these up, multiplying by 4, and he's just going to pay that out and go for it. He may leave himself a small space to build himself kind of like this guy did, to build himself gas stations and refineries if need be. But my plan is actually, I think I'm just going to go straight oil wells because prices are going to go up and I'll be able to clear out space as I sell the stuff I'm speculating in. Run out of counter mix for these, and I'm using dice for them. Remember, as I said before, the assets, there's no limit on these suckers. This is a strategy. When I did it with one of my sides of the board, my wife said I was just evil. It didn't work, but it gained me some ground. So now we're over here. Now he has refining capacity, but no oil. He wants to buy some oil because of that. Oil is the same price either place. He'll take it from the closer to get one. That's going to cost me 17 bucks though. Quick roll. 3 and 4. Well, anything but doubles works to trigger this. We're out of the recession and into an expansion. This is going to go up 4. Anything else here to worry about? Prices have gone up significantly. Is it worth selling things? Well, resale value on the oil wells is only $5. On the drilling rigs is only $5, and everything else I'd be losing money on. So this is not the time to sell things necessarily. But let's see what we hit. We hit a well, and that looks like it. So we're going to want to upgrade that. We've got 1, 2. Looks like there's just 2 wells in the game. So 15 bucks gets us the 3rd well. Now we could sell this immediately for 50 bucks. And we make some cash and clear up more space. But I kind of like leaving those wells in place at this point. So I'm going to leave that. What about other people? Other people don't get hit for anything. We're not going to buy at this point, I don't think. The prices have gone up too much. So we go over here. His situation, he's got plenty of oil going into the refinery. In fact, maybe he has too much oil. Let's get that 17 bucks. That the other guy just chunked in for it and grab ourselves some cash for it, reducing what we have. We get a 3-point difference. And we have a well hit, but first we can sell some gas for 49 bucks. We can refine some oil. And we can convert one of these. Now the last one was 15, so this one's 20. Still well worth it. Because remember, I can sell it for 50. I bought it for 4 or something, right? Or 5, you know. Do I want that extra oil production though? I think I do. Prices aren't high enough to justify selling these off. Other people, nothing. He gets to sell a gas. 48 bucks. It's almost always worth selling gas. And when you get an opportunity on the market. But now we're in an interesting position where, you know, we're producing more oil. Maybe we want a refinery. It's 96 bucks. That card hasn't come out. I don't think so. So over here, he has no refinement capability. The oil prices have dropped again. There's no real opportunity there. Gas prices look like they're going up. So we'll just roll some dice. and see what happens. 4 and 1. That's a 3-pointer. And now we don't hit anything. Other people, we don't hit anything. And yeah, I could replace those dice, but we don't know what's going to happen, so I'll wait a little bit longer. Alrighty. So that puts our turn there. And you know what? We're at about the time when I want to load this video up. And you can see we're not very far in the game still. People were around $300-400, and then they bought a lot of stuff, and now they're kicking, you know, this guy's still got $300 kicking around, but he has very little on the board. So there's going to be a little bit more play before we get around, probably at least another video.